Hello and welcome to the Nonprofit Exchange. I'm C. Richard Gilchrist, your host, and today we are honored to have the Virginia Housing Development Authority representatives with us today. Hello and welcome, LaDonna. Tell us about who you are and what this is all about.
Hello, Richard. Thank you for having us. My name is LaDonna Cruz, and as you stated, I'm with the Virginia Housing Development Authority, VHDA, and I'm the Housing Education Manager there.
So when did this organization get started? Because we like our audience to know that we're not talking to a bunch of people that just started yesterday. So when did this one get started?
No problem. So VHDA, first of all, is a self-supporting, not-for-profit organization, and we were actually established by the Commonwealth of Virginia back in 1972.
All right. Back in 1972, they organized this nonprofit organization. Now, all the folks out there, as you're listening, this is a nonprofit organization that was organized with the government,
yes,
helping it to be organized. Is that
well? We were established by the Commonwealth.
By the Commonwealth, so that means by the state legislators.
Yes.
Yes.
You're right.
Okay, so the state legislators helped to put this organization together.
Right.
Now they must have had some purpose for that. So what's the purpose of this organization?
Definitely. So the purpose of forming VHDA many years ago was to help Virginians obtain quality, affordable housing. That simple. And that is still our mission today, to help Virginians obtain quality, affordable housing.
So now I'm sure there's some people out there listening talking about, wait a minute, affordable housing, that means that you have ways to help me get out of public housing if I want to get out of public housing, go out and buy my first house if I want to go buy my first house. How you do that?
Okay, well, we have some resources.
All right.
So let me go ahead and clear up. We're not a public housing authority or redevelopment housing authority. Although we work alongside a lot of the PHAs with their development and a lot of their initiatives that they have. And typically their developments are to move individuals from the public housing sector into home ownership. So we finance a lot of the projects that the PHAs do.
All right. Excellent. So now I'm a homeowner or I'm a person who wants to buy a house. And now a person living in public housing. All of them are listening to this air right now.
Okay.
And they want to hear from you as to what some of the things that you might be able to do with them.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you the first thing that we tell anyone who's looking to purchase a home is to acquire some information about it, those steps to home buying. So VHDA offers free homebuyer education classes, and we do that in partnership with local lenders and real estate agents and some of the housing counseling organizations, which are nonprofits themselves. So we partner with them. We provide them all the resources, the training materials, the handbooks, so that they can facilitate those free classes. So after home ownership, that's where Gigi kind of steps in, and she can tell you a little bit more about what we have available for a home buyer or potential home buyer.
Okay, so we're going to talk to Gigi in just a minute because I want to get a little bit deeper into this home buyers and education about that.
Okay.
So talk about, I want to go to one of these classes. Where do I go to get to one of the classes? And then what am I learning in these classes that will help me get there?
Okay. So our calendar of classes that are being offered again by those different partners and stakeholders that we have that facilitate our classes. That list of classes can be found on our calendar.
Okay.
We have a really simple URL to get there, and it's simply vhda.com. Find a class. Find a class. That's it. vhda.com. Find a class.
Find a class. So now, ladies and gentlemen, you know how to find a class now. We're going to repeat that later on in the show, but that's one way you can do that. Now, I got to the class. What am I learning?
Okay, so when you get to the class, it's the class is usually facilitated by a housing industry professional, and they bring in speakers. So the 6 topics that are covered during the homebuyer education classes are personal finances, credit. Okay, right. Can't buy a house without knowing about your credit, getting all that straight. You'll also have a session on actually working with a lender, as well as working with a real estate agent. And then you'll get into the last 2 sessions, which will be the home inspection and the loan closing. So 6 topics.
6 topics. And I think that first topic is the most important.
Personal finance.
Because if you can't get that personal finance together. Now, do you do anything to help people with down payments?
Yes.
Since that's one of the issues that most people have about buying a house is that, well, I really can afford the house, but I don't have the down payment. Is that something that you
And that's
do?
not uncommon. So
Okay.
yes, VHDA we have funding as well to help with down payment, closing cost assistance as well. And again, Gigi's here, so she's that expert and she can give you more information.
All
on
right,
that.
Gigi, you up, lady. Talk about that area. We'll come back to the business development part of it, but talk about this home financing if they want to get involved in getting that down payment money.
Well, the loan programs that we have at VHDA is, as LaDonna mentioned, we have down payment assistance programs. It's free money, it's a gift. The borrower does not have to pay it back. As well as we have 100% finance programs. So we're giving the borrower the first mortgage and the second mortgage. They would have to pay that second mortgage back. And we also have closing cost assistance and tax credits. So we have all of the resources that a first-time home buyer needs in order to get financing for their first home.
That's excellent. Now, of course, they got to get a hold to you too. So can they get a hold to you at that same web address?
Well, in order to get financing, in order to get one of our loan programs with VHDA, we partner with an approved VHDA lender.
Okay.
So if a home buyer, first-time home buyer, would like to get a VHDA loan, they would go to VHDA.com, find a lender, and they can get a list of all of our approved lenders throughout the state of Virginia, so they can, in order for them to get approved for a VHDA loan.
Listening audience, you need to write this all down. So get your pencil and piece of paper because she's going to repeat that later on. Now, Gigi, tell us a little bit about the business development side of you.
Well, my role as a business development officer, I'm a business development officer for the Hampton Roads region. With VHDA, we are housed in our home office is in Richmond. We have 2 offices in Richmond and an office in Whitfield. But we also have regional employees. So we have regional business development employees. We have a regional business development employee that is located in Richmond, the Western region of Virginia, and the northern region of Virginia, as well as Hampton Roads. Now, I support Hampton Roads, and my role as a business development officer is I work closely with all of our approved VHDA lenders, our housing authorities, our partners in this area, as well as our real estate agents. So I help make sure that they are trained and knowledgeable of all of our loan products that we have with VHDA.
That's excellent. So now, the services that you provide as a business development, it sounds like, are you actually helping people go in business, or are you helping with the business of developing the organization that you're working with?
Well, my role as a business development officer is I develop making sure that our partners are knowledgeable of all our products, as well as bringing more approved lenders with VHDA. So if there's any lenders out there that that are currently not a VHDA lender, that they would have to go through the business development department in order to become the approved VHDA. So I work closely with the lenders and the real estate agents in this area in Hampton Roads.
Okay, so that means anybody out there listening that is an investor, a property investor that's really trying to get involved with your organization, they need to be contacting you.
Well, in my role in the home ownership division for business development, I deal with the residential side. Now, we do have a separate department within VHDA that LaDonna can talk a little bit more about in reference to if we have investors that are looking to get financing for any type of financing they need for commercial property.
Oh, okay. So you do the residential side,
Yes.
and there is a commercial side.
Right. So we have the what we call the multi-family side or rental side.
Okay.
Where we have similar technical assistance and associates that can help with that as well, understanding what we have available for the developers, for our local government, and even our community service organizations that are involved in developing or even rehabbing, or doing revitalization of areas. There are funds available through the VHDA to assist with that if you're eligible.
Okay, so now you have this list of services. Talk about a little bit of this list of services that you talked about in your book there. Tell us about those services.
So the services that, first of all, that Gigi was referring to can be found in what we have provided for you, Richard, is this big blue book, as we call it.
Okay.
And so that outlines everything from the classes, again, from the loan products that we have. We have tax credit programs that are excellent that people really don't know a lot about. So there's videos to help make you understand that. And that can also be found at VHDA.com. So that whole book, you don't have to send away from it. for it, excuse me. But you can go on VHDA.com and get that whole book to learn more about the closing cost assistance, down payment assistance, and all that good stuff.
Great.
Okay.
You know, go ahead. So you're about to say
No,
something
I
else.
was just
okay.
going to kind of transition into the rental side of what you were asking about.
Right.
And so, first of all, I can say VHDA.com is where you would want to go. You know, we have these short URLs to get you quickly to certain places, but everything really is at VHDA.com. You know, our headquarters office is in Richmond, but you really don't ever have to go there because all applications, all information about funding opportunities that we have available in the form of grants, eligibility requirements, how you can use the funds, all of that is on our website. Okay.
So if an organization, and I'm thinking about somebody who's running a kind of like a community development organization, if they were trying to get started, would that website be helpful for them to get started as to the plan is to help them build some things in their community?
Okay. So when you get started, the funds are typically not for startup agencies or to help you start up.
Right.
But if you're already a formed organization, nonprofit, and you're looking for funds, again, pre-development funds, maybe grants or something of that nature, then yes, you know, those funds may be available for you. And again, and I'll give you another website.
All right, go ahead.
For your listening audience, VHDA Grants, and that's going to be grants with an S.
Okay.
.com is a site where we list all of our funding announcements, all of our opportunities when we have it open. And when you take a look at that, and again, it will tell you whatever the eligibility requirements are, how much funding we may have available for you. Applications are there. Everything that you need is right there.
That's excellent. And I think that what's going on here is sometimes organizations have been put together to try to help their community. And they want to do it in a couple of different ways. One, they want to do it by building some housing.
Right.
Second thing they want to do is like building something that may have something to do with recognizing the community as one of the area's oldest communities, one of the best communities of the historical community. Right. All of those things, they've taken steps to get there. In other words, they've gone and gotten the 501c3. They now have some activities where they've raised a few dollars, and now they want to get into actually pulling off the project that they originally started.
Okay.
Is this the website to go to do that?
That would be the website to go to.
Okay,
right.
So it's say the words again. It's
so it's VHDA grants with an S.
With an S.
.com. Okay.
So now that's good, because that's the kind of organization that somebody might need to actually deal with if they're talking about community development kind of thing.
Yes.
Now, if they're just living in an area, what does VHDA do for somebody who's actually just living in an area? Let's say it's not a public housing area, but a moderate income housing area.
Okay.
What kinds of programs do they have that actually meet that need?
Okay, so we sometimes don't have the direct programs.
Okay.
Then that's kind of going into where I do the education part of things. So we are very involved with the Housing Counseling Network throughout Virginia. We have a very strong HUD Housing Counseling Network throughout Virginia, and we support that network by providing them grant funds to provide counseling services for individuals. So we have one grant that we refer to as our Housing Counseling and Education Grant. So we're giving them monies to continue to provide those direct services to those in the community. Whether it's rental issues that they're having, home buying issues, homelessness, even loss mitigation, foreclosure issues. So those counselors are trained, and we offer them training as well. So we offer them scholarships and tuition scholarship, hotel scholarships to come to Richmond sometimes and participate in those trainings as well.
So now, one of the areas that I've had people on the show here to talk about was homelessness. Talk a little bit about what that homelessness program is all about.
So now that's a little bit not in my area.
Okay.
Okay. But what we have through the community outreach division, and that's what I'm part of.
Okay.
We have what we call strategic housing officers. So they're kind of like Gigi and the business housing officer, but they're the strategic housing officers. And what they're going to do is talk to these organizations to kind of identify what are their needs.
Okay.
And then to see if VHDA has funding, other resources. They may need training. They may just need staff that needs training. It could be coupled with the fact that they need capacity funds to build the organization up. They may know what they want to do, and so they need pre-development loans.
Okay.
So we have strategic housing officers through our community outreach division that will be more than happy to talk to nonprofit organizations who are aligned with our mission of affordable housing, and take a look and see what they have going on and see if we have funding that might be available for them.
That's excellent.
And they'll walk them through that whole grant application.
Is there the way to get a hold of them? Is that through one of the websites also?
Yes.
Which one is that one?
That's still that grant.
The grant
when they
one?
go in there and register through that grant, VHDA grants, they're saying that, hey, we want to get a little bit more information and know more about you. VHDA, what you have to offer, what we might be able to contribute to our community by utilizing your resources and funds, and someone will get in contact with them.
Okay. So, Gigi, I have a question for you. And now, of course, this is not strictly on the business development, but it's about what have you seen in your work with the housing organization that's been a success to you over the year, over the 6 months, over the 10 years that you've been there. Talk about what have you seen that has been successful for working with an organization like this?
Well, the success that I've seen with working with an organization like VHDA is being able to provide that American dream for that individual of wanting to be a homeowner. And us being able to provide that individual who would like to become a homeowner, they don't have the funds. And they want to know, well, how can I do it? And they want to have that American dream that everyone else has fulfilled. So we're able to provide that for them at VHDA by providing that down payment assistance, 100% financing, so they can get to that dream house that they want. So that's the success I've seen by working with VHDA.
Excellent. Now, the same question goes to you, of course, but I need you to couch this one in a different way.
Okay.
The educational process that is trying to show people the better way to do this. Tell us about your success in terms of educating people, and have you seen a trend either up or down in relationship to more people getting involved in buying their own homes or getting enough education to be comfortable in the home that they're in?
Okay. So without going into any real stats or anything, but personally, like Gigi said, VHDA does, afford us this opportunity to educate and provide resources, and which is both near and dear to both Gigi and I. I've been in the housing authority arena and housing choice voucher public housing for many years. You won't say how many, right? No.
All right. I'm trying my best to get it out of you, but it's all right.
No, we don't need that. Okay.
So it's more than 5, right?
It's more than 5.
Okay.
Yes, it's more than 5.
So she's seasoned then.
So, I just know that I have had an indirect or direct impact on individuals, acquiring housing, again, whether it's rental or home ownership. Also, some of the resources that we have available for them, especially with the renters, it helps them to maintain housing as well. So a lot of times you attain it, but to maintain it, that's a different thing, and to retain it as well. So we have trainings for those housing counselors to help people stay in their homes again. So we have online resources, we have in-person classes. So if you give me just a second, I would like to say, to your listening audience, the in-person classes are great, but we know that everyone can't afford the opportunity to go to an in-person class. But if you can, the benefits to that is that you have those subject matter experts in the classroom to answer your questions in real time. But if not, we have the online version of the class, and we have it in both English and Spanish as well. So that's for the home buyer. For the renter, we have a How to Be a Successful Renter ebook. So it's a 9-chapter ebook that was written in a way that you're not, just listening or rereading all those acts and everything.
Okay.
So it's really practical information that the renter would need from all stages of renting. So if they're going into application, they need to know, what is going to be expected from them is when they're putting in the application. If they're already a tenant, how to maintain that property, and how to follow the guidelines so that, no one gets in trouble, no one's forced to be evicted. But also when they get ready to vacate, they need to know, what do I need to do so I can definitely get my security deposit back, And if they are having issues, what are their rights, according to the laws, So that's that rental ebook, and we have that both in the ebook and just recently we also turned that into an online course as well.
Okay.
So, and all this resource is free to them, very much free to them. For those that are already in their homes, again, we want them to stay in their homes.
Right.
So we have post-purchase videos to talk about things like that escrow account.
Okay.
And a lot of them, when they first get into the homes and they get that first escrow statement, they're like, what is this? And so we have these little short YouTube videos to talk about post-purchase things so you don't get in trouble and that we want you to stay in your home for years to come. A lot of resources.
Yes, a lot of resources. And I think that people don't recognize how much the internet is actually playing a great deal for information gathering.
Right.
And I think our listening audience ought to understand that nowadays you need to have some way to access. And if you don't have an internet access in your own home, go to the public library, because you can literally go to a public library, set up a time for using the internet and actually go use it. So that's another resource. But I really thank you so much for that, because you covered homeowners, you covered renters, and you covered people who have been in their home actually post-purchasing to know exactly what they need to know. And I think that that's an important aspect. As we do the nonprofit exchange here, one of our goals is to make sure that people understand what a nonprofit is, what kind of services that people can provide, and is there any opportunities for people to volunteer in case somebody wanted to become an intern with your group, if they wanted to become, just affiliated in some way so that they could get some, practical knowledge while they're either in college, in technical school, or just trying to learn. So
that's a lot, but what I can say is that we have what we call our trainer program. Okay. And that is based on strictly volunteers. Okay. So some of your nonprofits that have this passion to want to educate the community, we have resources for them as well. So we have PowerPoint presentations and things of that nature where they can actually conduct group education classes. So they would go through the trainer classes that are offered, through my team, and become a facilitator and bring in those industry partners, the lenders, the subject matter experts, and they can offer through their nonprofit the homebuyer education classes themselves.
Excellent. Now, in that situation, we're looking at people wanting to do this so that they can do a project in the future, and so this might be a way for them to do that. Now, Gigi, do you have the same thing available for your business development side?
Well, on my side for the home ownership, I basically partner with the approved realtors, the approved lenders and our real estate agents in this area.
So do they provide training for some of their clients?
Well, the training that the lenders, the loan officers, and the realtors, they can become a qualified trainer and provide the classes in their offices or in any area throughout the city of any city throughout Hampton Roads. So we work closely with them. Those are our partners, and they're the ones who primarily facilitate in the trainer classes.
Okay, we're about to run out of time, so you've been listening to the Nonprofit Exchange, and I just want Gigi to tell people how to get in touch with you, or what is the website that you think that people ought to get your information from.
Okay. Well, first, for all your listeners out there, if you're interested, if you thought about, hey, am I ready to be a homeowner? The first step for you to do is go to VHDA.com and sign up for our free home buyer education class throughout Hampton Roads. As well as go to VHDA.com/find a lender to speak with one of our approved lenders to see if you're eligible for a VHDA loan.
Thank you, Gigi. And
Gigi, I want to mention, and if you're eligible, we also have find a real estate agent on our site. So we're covering all the
yes,
bases
you are.
to really help, make it easier for them. So,
LaDonna, I need you to talk about the future. Talk about the future of what you're doing right now.
Your nonprofits, that's
Yes.
who I want to address.
Right.
Okay. So depending, again, if they have a housing related, affiliation, services that they're offering, I want to just quickly go through this. We have capacity building grants for those organizations. We have the housing and education grants. We also have pre-development loans. We have community impact grants. I heard you mention that as well. We have accessibility grants for modifying rental units, which is typically unheard of. And we have a special pool of money for what we call granting freedom, which is for our service members who have service-related injuries for their. We have all this, a lot of grant fundings available. Again, I would say go to VHDA.com and just visit our site and see a lot of what we have. But the shorter URL is for the funding announcements, because when we have monies available, we're going to make a funding announcement. So that's the first place that you'll see, and that's going to be that VHDA grants.
You've been listening to the Nonprofit Exchange. I'm your host, C. Richard Gilcrease, and thank you so much for listening. But before we go, we just want to make sure you understand this is a program that's trying to get you to understand that nonprofits are out there helping your community, and they're both involved with government, they're involved with housing, they're involved with medical society, they're also involved with raising money. I just had a nonprofit organization on the show that talked about the Hampton Roads Community Foundation that just had a big event the other night, and it was really good to hear people talk about what it is that the nonprofit organizations can do to help the community. So, Gigi, you have any closing remarks? We good?
Yes, we're good.
All right. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. LaDonna, any closing remarks?
No, we're just really happy to have been here and invited here. And if you'd like to have us back to go in a little bit more detail about any of the services that we talked about today, we'd be more than happy.
Well, we're going to get the listening audience to do that. We're going to have you sign in, call in. You can see us on YouTube or Facebook at the Nonprofit Video Network. And you can also see us on Hampton Roads Community Media. So, you've been listening to the Nonprofit Exchange. I'm your host, C. Richard Gilcrease, and thank you for listening.